Book of Job, chapter 10. Weary in my soul, I will pour my words with groans upon him. I will speak being straitened in the bitterness of my soul. And I will say to Yahweh, do not teach me to be impious. And wherefore hast thou thus judged me? Is it good before thee, if I be unrighteous? For thou hast disowned the work of thy hands, and attended to the counsel of the ungodly. Or dost thou see as a mortal sees? Or wilt thou look as a man sees? Or is thy life human, or thy years, the years of a man? That thou hast inquired into mine iniquity, and searched out my sins. For thou knowest that I have not committed iniquity. But who is he that can deliver out of thy hands? Thy hands have formed me and made me. Afterwards thou didst change thy mind and smite me. Remember that thou hast made me as clay, and thou dost turn me again to earth. Hast thou not poured me out like milk, and curdled me like cheese? And thou didst clothe me with skin and flesh, and frame me with bones and sinews. And thou didst bestow upon me life and mercy, and thy oversight has preserved my spirit. Having these things in thyself, I know that thou canst do all things, for nothing is impossible with thee. And if I should sin, thou watchest me, and thou hast not cleared me from iniquity. Or if I should be ungodly, woe is me! And if I should be righteous, I cannot lift myself up, for I am full of dishonor. For I am hunted like a lion for slaughter. For again thou hast changed, and art terribly destroying me, renewing against me my torture. And thou hast dealt with me in great anger, and thou hast brought trials upon me. Why then didst thou bring me out of the womb? And why did I not die, and no eye see me? And I become as if I had not been. For why was I not carried from the womb to the grave? Is not the time of my life short? Suffer me to rest a little, before I go, whence I shall not return, to a land of darkness and gloominess, to a land of perpetual darkness, where there is no light, neither can anyone see the life of mortals. Shalom Aleichem, Assalamu Alaikum, and Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Job chapter 10. There are 22 verses in this chapter. We have a lot to cover, so let's get right down to it. Verse 1, significant difference, weary in my soul. In other words, I'm feeling weary or weak, like many people who just fasted for Yom Kippur not too long ago. Versus, my soul is weary of life, meaning I do not want to live anymore. Continuing the theme of Job, craving death. Big difference. I will pour my words with groans upon him, versus I will leave my complaint upon myself. So it makes sense for Job and even ourselves to send our petition or our complaint to Elohim versus making less or no sense. I'm going to leave my complaint upon myself. I'm going to submit my complaint to who? To myself. What am I going to do about it? I don't know. Maybe I'll reflect on it. It makes less sense. Not that it's nonsensical, but it's not as logical from a spiritual standpoint. If you have a complaint, why are you giving it to yourself? You give it to who can address it. And the word him, upon him, the footnote reads Alexandrian myself, but again, we're not going with that. Omission being straightened, meaning a state of distress, facing hardship. Verse 2, a significant difference. I just say SD, could be a BD. Big difference. Do not teach me to be impious, meaning lacking piety or reverence or respect for Elohim. Verses do not condemn me, to pronounce judgment that I am guilty. Okay, so two different things. One is judgment in the Masoretic. One, Job is reflecting on how he should behave. So do not teach me to be impious. Another significant difference in the same verse. Wherefore, or why hast thou thus judged me? Versus wherefore thou contendest with me, to quarrel. Verse 3, another BD, even a huge difference perhaps, HD. Is it good before thee if I be unrighteous? Versus, is it good unto thee that thou shouldest oppress, meaning to press upon, to violate, to defraud, to do violence, to get deceitfully, to wrong, or even to extort? So in the Septuagint, Job is assessing his own moral condition. Would it be good before Elohim if I, Job, be unrighteous? Versus imputing to Adonai, Elohim, saying he has the wrong character and motivations. Is it good to you, Elohim, that you should oppress me? Another big difference and huge difference. For thou hast disowned the work of thy hands. Versus that thou shouldest despise the work of thine hands. So the Septuagint saying you've abandoned me, forsaken me, versus you hate me, you loathe me. It's relational. That's why I think it's a big difference, because the relationship that we have with our Creator is the most important relationship that we have in this lifetime. More important than the one we have with our spouse and even with our children and anyone else. It's number one between us, between me or you and your Maker. And attended to the counsel of the ungodly. Okay, actually I didn't fully address this. You hate your creation. So Elohim not just creates humans, but creates them in his own image, and he hates them, he loathes them. Doesn't make sense. That's not who he is. He is love. He's not hate, and he isn't loathing either. What he does hate is sin and disobedience, idolatry, rebellion. He hates those things, but he doesn't hate the individual. It's up to the individual to choose rightly and to submit. Okay, and attended to the counsel of the ungodly, versus and shine, which means to look favorably upon the counsel of the wicked. Okay, that's pretty significantly different as well. Verse 5, or is thy life human? Are thy days, meaning days, years, time, or lifetime, as the days of man? Of course he's not human, but Job is asking, is your life like a human? A human's life? It's a honest question. It's a valid question. Verse 6, significant difference, that thou hast inquired into my iniquity and searched out my sins. So he's being examined. Elohim is researching thoroughly the sins of Job versus, and searchest after my sin. So he's focusing on sin, but only on Job's faults. Okay, searching after my sins. Versus searching out is to examine, to research. But searching after my sin is focusing only on the negative. That's the difference here. Verse 7, for thou knowest that I have not committed iniquity, versus thou knowest that I am not wicked. So does this mean that Job is flawless, or he never made a mistake in his life? No. No, he's not like the Mashiach, who it says in Isaiah, there was no iniquity found in him. Spoiler alert, I say that. Does this mean Job is flawless? No. He did make mistakes, but Job is implying that he has not committed iniquity as it relates to the sufferings that he is currently enduring. He didn't do any wrong in this specific circumstance, in this specific time, to deserve these specific punishments. Versus thou knowest that I am not wicked. Okay, it's more specific about committing iniquity. It's not talking about an umbrella term, just painting him as righteous or wicked. No. Verse 8, significant difference. Afterwards, thou didst change thy mind and smite me, versus yet thou dost destroy me. So striking or smiting or afflicting is a form of divine judgment or punishment. It is a chastisement. It is a correction, not unlike what parents do to their children. Spanking them, punishing them. Corporal punishment. Spare the rod, you spare your child. You don't spare discipline. You have to correct your children. You have to chastise them, or else they become problems. Menace to societies. Fatherless, etc. It's getting into another topic, but the point is, he was smitten versus he was completely eradicated by Elohim. That's a different story altogether. Verse 9, and it's very harsh too, I have to add. Significant to a huge difference, and thou dost turn me again to earth, versus wilt thou bring me into dust again. This is a statement of fact because Adonai Elohim is the one who returns man to earth again. Versus Job is asking or questioning whether Elohim will bring him into dust again. So he's asking him a question, the Masoretic. Perhaps he's questioning his authority, Elohim's authority over him, his power, or even his motives. But no matter how you slice it, this is a very dangerous approach to think this way and to ask these kinds of questions. What I have to say, my personal reflection, is this chapter 10 of Job, has been a gross mischaracterization of not only Job, but also Adonai, the Elohim of Israel, including a gross mischaracterization of the relationship or perspective that Job has of God and the relationship he has with God. Okay, moving on. Let's go forward. Verse 12. Oversight versus visitation. Footnote here reads spirit and life. So footnote is thy oversight has preserved my spirit or life. Verse 13, having these things in thyself, so Elohim has all knowledge and all power, versus and these things hast thou hid in thine heart. You have concealed these traits or facts. Okay, this one, buckle up. It says here, huge difference, cataclysmic difference. So pay attention. This is going to be in the summary video for sure. I know that thou canst do all things. Let me just highlight that. For nothing is impossible with thee. Versus, I know that this is with thee. Okay. So let's break it down. So the Septuagint is saying the infinite power and nature of Elohim. You know, he can do anything. Nothing is impossible. Straightforward. Versus Job knows that Elohim is hiding these things. He's hiding these things. He's hiding life. He's hiding mercy. He's even hiding his spirit, Job's spirit. That is what I just said. A gross mischaracterization of the Elohim of Israel. This is, I'm going to say it's abhorrent. I know it's strong, but if you look at this difference, it is abhorrent to say to Elohim, to say to your maker, you can do anything. Nothing is impossible with you. You acknowledge his omnipotence. Versus, you're hiding something from me. Or are you keeping things back from me? That is a satanic mindset where Satan convinced Eve, you know, God is keeping things back from you. He's hiding knowledge from you and power and authority and eternal life. You know, like in Book of Adam and Eve, he's talking about that. Oh, God is keeping this back. He's begrudging you because, you know, he'd rather you not live forever and rather you not have good things. Mischaracterizing Elohim himself. So that's why this is a cataclysmic difference. This is very evil. It's an evil rendering because it breaks the third commandment, which is you shall not take the name, which is reputation, of Yahweh your Elohim and put it to nothing. That's what this is doing. It's making his character and his reputation to be as one who keeps things back, specifically life, mercy or favor, and even Job's spirit. Okay, so I think we're going to move on from that. I don't know if there's anything else I want to say about that, but that is very strong. That might be the video title, to say that God can do all things. Nothing is impossible with God, but not so in the Masoretic, apparently. Okay, verse 14, significant difference. Watchest me versus markest me. The Hebrew here reads to keep, guard, observe. So it is similar when you look into the Hebrew. 15, I cannot lift myself up. And just in all honesty, in full, for the sake of full transparency, in the last video where the title was the prophecy of Jesus walking on water, Yeshua walking on water, was removed from the Masoretic. Technically it was, but if you look deeper into the Hebrew, the word that was used for tread on water, it can mean walk, but they didn't use water as the term what he's walking on. It said waves, so he's walking on the waves, he's treading on waves. And if we're going to look at the account where Yeshua Mashiach walked on water, it was during a storm, and they were literally waves, because when you have a turbulent storm, the water isn't still, it's more like waves. So in a sense, it's kind of more accurate in a sense of what was actually happening, but technically it's more correct in the Septuagint because he walked on the water like it was firm ground. Okay, so just want to clarify that and be just completely transparent. Okay, verse 15, I cannot lift myself up, versus yet I will not lift up my head, because I am full of dishonor. He cannot be lifted up or exalted because of the dishonor. Okay. Versus I am full of confusion. And there's an addition. Therefore see thou mine affliction. So dishonor versus confusion. We can see Job is in the Masoretic. He's shamed. He's disgraced. Dishonored, ignominy. Okay. And he's also confused in the Masoretic. Not so in the Septuagint. Although there's I would say there's a little bit of confusion because he's perplexed as to why he's going through the sufferings he's going through, the ordeals he's being put through without a cause. Verse 16, I am hunted versus thou huntest me. So it is unclear who is the hunter, but it is implied in the second part of the verse. Okay, so let's read that. Hunted like a lion for slaughter, for again thou hast changed. So it is Elohim hunting him. It's not wrong to say that thou huntest me. But it is clear in the Masoretic that Elohim is the hunter. Significant to big difference. For again, thou hast changed and art terribly destroying me. Versus, and again, thou showest thyself marvelous upon me. So it's a little bipolar, in all honesty. We see how he's being hunted, and Job is describing how Elohim is destroying him. He feels like this is his perception. You're destroying me. You've taken my children, you've taken my livelihood, perhaps even his home. I think his home was set on fire. And my wife is, maybe destroying his spirit, for example, just discouraging him from following Elohim. His health, his physical health is being destroyed, but he's just remaining alive, hanging by a thread. Versus, and again, thou showest thyself marvelous upon me. Oh, you're so marvelous, you're so wonderful. Doesn't make sense. Why would he say that? That doesn't make any sense. Illogical. Verse 17, my torture versus thy witnesses against me. And thou hast brought trials upon me versus changes and war against me. Verse 18 to 19. So although Job laments that he did not die as a baby, he technically is not suicidal. Okay? He's just asking, why didn't he not die as a baby? He's not saying, I'm going to, end myself. He's just asking an honest question. If I'm going through this, why didn't I just, why did you lead me up to this moment? It's too more than he can bear, it seems. At least that's his own opinion. Verse 20, an addition of let me alone. Let me alone. Suffer me to rest a little. Versus, I may take comfort. I may smile or gleam a little. 21, gloominess versus the shadow of death. And this last one is a little sad for me because I did commit this to memory. This is a memory verse for me in the Bible. A land of darkness as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death, without any order, and where the light is as darkness. That is so beautiful and poetic, and it's one of the most, criticize the Masoretic all you want, and that's what I do in this channel, but this is one of the most beautiful pieces of writing and literature in the English language that I've ever read in my life. It's so beautiful, yet it's not actually what the scripture says, so I have to accept the reality. It doesn't say that in the Septuagint. Okay, it actually says to a land of perpetual darkness, where there is no light. Okay, how different is it? It's perpetual, it's continual, it's like eternal darkness, you could say. So if I would rephrase it, to a land of eternal darkness where there is no light, neither can anyone see the life of mortals. So there's not even any life there. So it's even sadder. It's not just a land of darkness and the shadow of death without any order, disorderly, and where light is darkness. It's like the negative zone. Everything's dark, even the light is dark. it's like dark world. No, it's eternal darkness. Obviously, there's no light, and no one can see the life of mortals. Mortals includes even animals. There's no life. It's a life of eternal darkness and death. Eternal darkness, eternal death. That's what it is. That's how he's describing this place. So it's actually darker in the Septuagint, but it's just more poetic and nicer to read in the Masoretic. So that's all for this chapter. I hope it made sense. I'm not sure what to call this. Might be God can do all things, and even including the impossible. But that has been omitted from the Masoretic. Nothing is impossible with God has been removed. So that, I'm not going to say it's blasphemy, but it is a mischaracterization of Elohim. So that's all for Job chapter 10. Thank you very much for your time. Till next time, I bid you all Shalom Aleichem, Assalamu Alaikum, Irini Mazisu, Pax Vobiscum, peace be unto you, and Maranatha.